Move it.
Welcome back to 6 Weeks to Wellness. Jan Fitzpatrick of inVibeHealth.com is our host, and we're doing a 4-part series. We're wrapping up this 4-part series today on keeping calm during these taxing times. So, Jan, what are we talking about in this episode? Move it.
I didn't mean to be so aggressive on that, but it's true. You need to get up and out. Well, for women over 50, the effects of chronic stress are compounded. Your body isn't as resilient as it once was, and it needs better maintenance, and exercise is a key component of that. And exercising regularly, now I know the word exercising for me, I'd rather hear movement, but some of the way, but moving regularly reduces stress, improves your mood and your sleep, very important, and boosts your overall health. And if you exercise outside in nature, it also offers us the bonus of reducing stress hormones and lowering blood pressure.
Excellent. And as always, we like to do things in threes. So in prepping, you said we're going to talk about walk your way to wellness, then we're going to stretch out your stress, and then strong arm your stress. Okay, I can see where this is going, Jan. You're going to make me move it. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about walking. You know, walking is great exercise, right?
Yeah, and I called it Walk Your Way to Wellness because everything I read talked about the benefits and how wonderful it is for us, and we're made to walk. That's something that we're made to do. We're well equipped, and it's really easy. It's part of what you would call aerobic exercise, which means it gets our oxygenates our body. You'll notice your heart rate goes up, your breathing rate goes up. And aerobic exercise with walking being really a key component improves memory, increases the size of the hippocampus, and increases the blood levels of B, D, and F. And well, the hippocampus is really important because this is one of the very first organs in our brain, or parts of our brain, that is affected for Alzheimer's.
Yeah, very
so
tied to memory.
Actually, and that's like on the downside. And all it would take to prevent you from going in that direction is a little bit of walking. Oh, I can do that. Everybody can do that.
That's right. It takes very little equipment, right?
And it's all built there. You have it right to hand.
No gym required.
And the protein, exactly, pretty cheap. And the protein B, D, and F is the protein that helps us build new neurons.
How about that?
So, and you can, so if you're just a little walk would help you to build new neurons, because we all think we lose them as we get older. That's not necessarily true. There are ways, aerobic exercise, to increase the number of healthy neurons in your brain as well. So examples of those, running. I'm not so much.
A little more wear and tear when you.
I'm not, but I know I have friends who do. Swimming, I wish I did love it. It's so good for you. I can do the exercises in the water.
The problem is you need a pool. So anything that requires a large object like that is not very convenient sometimes.
Large object. Walking, hiking, dancing. I love to dance. Aerobic classes. They're like Zumba. Cross-country skiing, which is really, I used to do a lot of that. And kickboxing, which, I know friends who do that as well. And then if you do that exercising in nature instead of on a treadmill in a gym, it offers protective factors against anxiety and depression. So I think it's all that green.
Yeah.
When
you're
outside,
being away from everything else.
Yeah, they didn't include that in the study, but I think you're absolutely right. And then just being on that walk in your favorite park, or in a really nice place in your neighborhood, your perception and senses expand and you relax.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So walk your way to wellness, folks. It's well within everyone's means, right? It's no gym, no pool, no equipment, and we get more neurons. Yeah. What more could you ask for?
Awesome.
So let's talk about stretching out your stress. Stretching feels so good. So
yes, it does.
I guess it's doing us good too.
Yeah, and it's not that you would do one or the other, you do both, because the aerobic exercise was the one that improved the memory and all those other things we just talked about. Stretching in a study didn't do that, but stretching does other things.
Okay.
So if continued stress does create chronic pain. You know, a lot of people who are depressed have pain in their bodies. It's just totally connected. There's no separation there. And you'll find pain where you hold your tension. It could be in your neck and shoulders. That's mine. Some people, it's in their eyes, believe it or not, or their hips, or their feet. That's another place people hold their tension. And stretching acts as an interrupter. In other words, you know, you're going along, and anxiety and stress tends to kind of pile on itself. You know, that anxious thought brings another anxious thought, brings another anxious thought, and stretching interrupts that cycle. It also decreases the production of stress hormones, it increases blood flow, and it gets new blood to your brain, so you have a greater feeling of well-being. It increases the flexibility and balance, and what happens in your body feeds back to your brain. And some of the you could research the type of stretches you need to do if you have tight shoulders or tight hips. I would recommend that you go to a yoga class, gentle yoga, thank you, or ask a professional, ask your chiropractor, ask your physical therapist, ask your massage therapist. What would be, now you notice I had a tight shoulder, I had a tight hip. What would you recommend I do so that the next time I come, that I'm not that tight anymore, and you don't have to work as hard.
Makes sense. Talk to somebody who has studied anatomy and can tell you how these things are interconnected.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're going to make me strong arm my stress. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, and I've done this. I've actually done, strength training at one point. That would probably be my weakest area of all of the exercise or movement things that are possible. But I know that a lot of women, their stress comes from feeling out of control. They're stuck in a situation. They don't know how to get out of it, whether it be a relationship or financial or their children or their car. It could be anything.
Right.
Yeah. And so when you start strength training, such as weightlifting or resistance exercises, which is sometimes it's using your own body weight or those little bands that you can get, or even martial arts, you start getting stronger. And of course, we already said this, as you strengthen your body, it changes the way you think. It also slows the muscle loss, which is one of the things that women are concerned about as they get older, as well as helping to prevent osteoporosis. Improves your sleep. Here we go.
There you go. It's all interconnected.
That'll save your life. And it decreases the risk of injury because you're stronger, you're more balanced. Right. It normalizes your blood sugar. And I think the big takeaway from any of strength training is that while you're reshaping your body, you're actually reshaping how you feel about your body and your life.
It's absolutely true. It's not metaphorical. When you feel strong, you feel strong. It has an impact on how you carry yourself, your confidence, all of those things. And it's a great stress burner too. While you're doing it, you can kind of get it out of your system. So it's good stuff. Yeah. So we've been talking about stress. Can you tell? We've been talking about keeping calm during these taxing times, pun intended. So we've been talking about this in a 4-part series, and this one's all been about movement. If you missed any of the earlier ones, I'll tell you how you can get connected to those and not miss out on them. But today we've been talking about 3 very common sense ways to do it. Walk your way to wellness, stretch out your stress, or strong arm your stress, and you can guess what those are, right? So get connected with Jan, though, because she has a wealth of information, not just this episode. This has been a 4-part series all about ways that you can deal with stress when you're feeling taxed by tax time. come on over to inVibeHealth.com right now. Get Jan's Amazon.com ebook just by putting your name and address, by clicking on the banner, just putting your name and email address right in that form there. You're going to get instant access to her Amazon.com book, as well as being on her mailing list so you don't miss out on notices about great ongoing multi-part series like we just did. There'll be another one coming up. There are a whole bunch of other ones that you'll find over at inVibeHealth.com. But not just video, blog posts as well. Lots of great tips and strategies about how to increase your wellness, at really this important time of your life. So get connected at inVibeHealth.com. Jan, this has been great. I'm going to go work out now. I'm going to go burn off some of the stress, and then I think maybe I'll take a nap. What do you think?
Great. Thanks for joining us.